Oh, welcome back, everybody. Clint today with Classic Firearms, here to bring you another Monday night live stream. I am, as always, excited to be talking with you guys, getting down and dirty about everything gun related. And of course, tonight you'll be noticing I want to talk about obviously carrying and some things to think about when carrying your firearms. So, the display behind me today, I've got an entire lineup of different pistols, and I guess you could probably call them options right here. And of course, what my everyday carry is right there. All right. So good to see you guys tune in. Looks like Rumble just made it in. Looks like Rumble had a little bit of a delay there. And if you guys are watching on Rumble, I hope you enjoyed the Mark 18 drill, just playing and repeat over and over and over and over again. And if you didn't, well, get your stuff together, all right? Because the Mark 18 is wonderful. It's beautiful. And we are actually, when Grantham dropped his video this past Sunday about the Mark 18 motto, I was a little bit excited because we just filmed our dedicated video on the Mark 18 last week. The timing is just great. So be looking out for that video coming out. We'll probably wait a while now, so that way people don't think we're just riding on coattails or anything. We'll probably release that a little bit later. Anyway, before we hop into tonight's video and getting to the live chat on YouTube and Twitch and Rumble, Twitter, um, just want to go ahead and say shout out to our sponsor of this video, and that's of course, or this live stream, and that's of course, as always, you guys. You guys are the reason we are here. You're the reason why Classic Firearms exists because, well, we're a business, and without customers and loyal fans like yourselves, we, wouldn't be able to do what we do, and continuing to bring you all the products and content that we bring you. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, it's such a pleasure talking with all of you. And with that, if you want to make sure I get your comment and it lights up bright and shiny for us, don't forget about the super chat, which we greatly appreciate. Thank you guys. And it helps, it does the channel continue doing what we do. And with that, let's go ahead and hop into it, right? One thing I want to discuss is it's getting cooler out, and depending on where you live, it might also determine your carry gun. Exactly, maybe it determines everything that you carry. So let me know down in the comment section. Do you have a difference for summertime carry versus winter carry? Maybe you've got a different gun for each season or week or day. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. For me, with what I carry, is going to pretty much stay the same with my SIG 365 macro, 17 rounds plus one, that right there. So again, we'll talk a little bit about that and things to consider. Obviously, the title of this is Vigilance, Preparedness, Fitness, and other things to consider when carrying. And this isn't also just when you're carrying or when you're armed. It's all the time, right? We live in an age now where you pretty much have to be hyper vigilant. So, head on the swivel type of thing. And if you're like me, you like going out with your friends, different bars, stuff like that. But I also recognize that puts me at a disadvantage, right? Because first of all, alcohol, what does it do, right? Starts to kill your senses, starts to it compromises you at the end of the day. Um, so there is that. With that being said, Lagavulin 16 tonight. Cheers to all of you guys joining me. That's what I'm drinking tonight. Cilantro. And some of you guys are saying that there's some issue with the audio as well. And hopefully that's terrible. Great. I did have to update some settings. Let's try this now. Boom. How we sounding now, guys? Let me know if that helps quite a bit. And hopefully yeah, okay. Well, let me know, guys. I'm going to keep going here for just a little bit. If the audio still keeps messing up, make sure I'm actually all good here. Better, sounds good. Improved, much better. Okay, good. Yeah, that was my bad. I didn't realize it was connected to my MacBook in front of me and not my Yeti. So that was dumb. So let's just go back a little bit, talking all about. Thank you, Daryl Rostick, for letting me know the audio is better. By the way, you might like that rifle right over here. I finally remembered. All right, bam, there it is with the Liberty's Defense suppressor wrap on the Surefire SOCOM RC2, and EOTech setup. Nice, simple, streamlined, runs. And that's what it's all about. Now, going back to what I was talking about just a moment ago, do you guys have different carry options, or do you switch guns for the seasons, right? You might carry something different during the warmer months versus the colder months when you have a little bit more clothing. And you got to think too, a lot of people are wearing a little bit more clothing. So that 380 that you carried during the summer might have been great and all that. But now if you're carrying 380 hollow points, and you got to think about if somebody's wearing leather jackets and multiple layers, will the 380 hollow point be as effective on target in that situation, right? Vigilance, preparedness, fitness, other things to consider is what this video is all about. So let's talk about that some when carrying, and let's go ahead and hop into the live chat here, since pretty much the first little bit of this live stream was messed up due to my audio. I apologize. So with that, I'm actually going to bring over my stuff here so I don't have to keep looking over here as much. But let's do that, and let's get you guys on here. Now that the audio is better, I'll just disregard all the audio comments, all right? So, first of all, Keith, very first comment, as always, you're loyal, man. You're always on top of it. Cheers to you, dude. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And Joshua Ranks, man, thank you. That means a lot, that the live chat is the highlight of your week. Joshua, is everything okay? I appreciate you tuning in on the Mondays and talking with everybody in the chat and everything. But if this is the highlight of your week, talking to me and all these other hooligans in this chat, I don't know, man. We'll be praying for you. But thank you, Joshua. Really, it means a lot to me. I appreciate it. And you did have a follow-up question. You were wondering if I had any experience or thoughts on the Firefield Rapid Strike 1-6 LPVO. Budget is super tight. I totally get the super tight budget right now in this economy. And with holidays coming up, things like that, it might be super tight for a lot of people out there. Firefield, I've always kind of considered them very budget, one of the budget options for optics. Personally, I don't have much experience with Firefield, but if anybody else does, help our buddy Joshua out here, okay? And Keith also, happy early Turkey Day, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. By the way, my dearly beloved, she makes fun of the way with how I pronounce Thanksgiving, and I'm just curious if anybody else thinks I say Thanksgiving funny. I Thanksgiving, that's how I say it. Let me know. I don't know. So just let me know. All right, Porter, Scott, good to see you. Scott the Prussian, good to see you again, man. Clint should include a high point in the 10mm challenge. Don't worry, it will be. High point should be represented in every challenge, Keith says. Pretty funny. Clint, what's up, my cousin Jake? Jake, are we actually cousins? Like, have we established that? I don't know. It's funny. Keith also says, cheers, everyone. What's everyone sipping on tonight? I already mentioned I've got my Lagavulin scotch, and Scott Rash is sipping on disappointment. You guys are already on it. Oh, boy. Brendan Board. Clint, I finished assembling my first rifle. That is awesome. Feel free, I'm saying it here for the first time, builds@gmail.com. Wait, CF Builds. I don't even remember my own Gmail. It's cfbuilds@gmail.com. Gmail. Because everybody was DMing me on Instagram. Hey, man, how do I, I think it was cfbuilds@gmail.com. Everybody was asking on Instagram, like, hey, if I don't have if there are there other ways, not on Instagram, comment section, are there other ways to submit our builds for the Bust My Build series other than Instagram? Because some people don't have that, right? But what did I just do? Builds@gmail.com. Builds. I messed up already, guys. Already. That's good. Yep. All right. 1 second. I got this. Bustyourbuilds@gmail.com. Bustyourbuilds@gmail.com. Email images of your builds, of your guns. I don't want anything else. No other. I don't want customer service complaints. I don't want return shipments. All of that will be disregarded. And any images outside of rifles and pistols. All right, maybe if you send in images of your dog, that would be cool too. But, that's it. Bustyourbuilds@gmail.com. Unless we ask for anything else, rifles and pistols at this time. That's it, okay? I'm really afraid about what we'll be getting there. It's going to a whole team, by the way, all right? We are not just me. So keep that in mind. Bustyourbuilds@gmail.com. That's where you can submit images of your rifles and pistols to be featured at the Bust Your Builds series or on the Bust Your Builds series. All right. So, Brendan, if you'd like to show off you're finished assembling your first rifle, feel free to send it on over there. But congratulations, man. I know that's a exciting thing. All right. So always a lot of fun there. Tanner, good to see you again, man. What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, appreciate it. We've got Meg Harb 5 in here from New Jersey. What's going on? We got Brandy in here again. Good to see you, Brandy Chandler. Nice to see you tonight as well. Let's see here. Dier Harby. I'm getting to the super chats here in just a moment. I see a few of them queued up there. I'll be right there. All right. Don't worry. And I'm actually going to go ahead and bring this on over so it's right next to Rumble so I don't miss out anybody on over there. Okay. And Dier Harby, final answer, Mark 18 or DDM4 V7. Dude, it's going to be the Mark 18, all right? Obviously. Even though the DDM4 V7 probably has better ballistics because it probably has a longer barrel length. It's probably lighter. If you've got some of the newer ones, they might offer it in ambi controls. They also might offer, the Mark 18 R3 that could have ambi controls. But if you're going for a base DDM4 V7, base Mark 18, the DDM4 V7 is probably more practical, but Mark 18. All right, there we go. Steel City, what's up? Good to see you as well. Crunchy Taco, also good to see you. Thank you guys. Thank you all. Smart Shooters LLC, good to see you, bro. Of course, Rostic Arms here. I've got mine. Nice camo over there. Tanner and everybody, thank you for letting me know about the audio. We got it all fixed now, from what I understand. All right, from what I understand, we got it all fixed. Okay. All right. Jessica Simp 44, Jessica here. Time to lock and load. You bet. Let's do it. All right. So let's get on over to some of these super chats here. Yep. Appreciate it. And Trent Schaefer, just making sure everyone knows you can get a Picatinny mounted flamethrower for $350. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. By the way, I'll be checking these whatever I'm trying to say right now, messages, chats about how I'm saying Thanksgiving. All right. So continuing on, Zastava M77. Thank you guys for the super chats. Dominic Coles, Zastava M77 question mark. Yes, it is a fantastic rifle. 308. It's awesome. It's awesome. Mike, appreciate the update. Smart Shooters. How on earth? All right, I got the answer for you here, okay? Thanks for the super chat, man. But how on earth did you leave the Canik MC9 off the top 5 pistols list? It was much better than anything Sig put out. Ha ha ha. And great RA15 setup. Appreciate it. The MC9 didn't come out this year. I think it was a 2022 gun. So top guns of 2023, the MC9 was last year. Believe me, we talked about it. So that's why. It was a 2023 thing, okay? But there you have it. All right. So hopefully, you guys allow that as a pass. All right. So there you go. Okay. Ooh, Blake over here coming in with the spice, talking about Canik is whack. Well, sir, I've got an MC9 and my Canik Mate rival. or the Canik Rival sitting right there. You can see it, nice and chrome, whatever. So there you go. I do not know anything about the Ewok Cartel. Funny. Still issues with the MC9 going out of battery. I never had that issue. I actually haven't even heard of that. So you guys fill me in on that one, because I haven't heard about that. All right. So there you go. Everybody here talking about Canik is whack. Well, our buddy Rusty Shackelford says them's fighting words. All right. So there you go. Oh, man. All right. Let's come back up a little bit here. Ariel Feldberg, good to see you again, Ariel. Mark 18 or Zion 15. Look, the Mark 18 is great, okay? It's a fun gun at the end of the day. You know, that guy right, well, I guess I need to remove there you go. That guy, that little shorty right there. Awesome fun thing. But what I can tell you is the Zion 15, it's more affordable. It's going to be more practical. Yeah, I would go for that, all right? So that's what I would say there. Let's see here. General Lee says the Mark 18 don't need a stamp if you just stick a brace on it. And as long as you don't register it as a short-barreled rifle, yeah. Looks like pistol braces are back. All right, so be looking out. You probably go to the Classic Firearms website and see some pistol braces on the website soon. So if it's not already up there, so there you go. Okay. General Lee also wants to know what my opinion on CAR 15s are. They're freaking cool. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Get that stuff, if not just for the aesthetic. All right. Scott wants to know if we're getting any more FG 42s in. That would be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? So there we go. Okay. Jessica Simp 44, thoughts on the Dragunov SVD, because it's my favorite sniper rifle for looking super beautiful. It's awesome. But the Romanian PSL, not the pumpkin spice latte, the PSL, similar in looks, but they're typically more available and more affordable than the Dragunov SVD. The Dragunov is very cool, but very, very expensive and hard to come by if you find them. So the Romanian PSL, however, still shoots the same caliber, looks similar, but operates utilizing the long stroke system, more traditional to the AK, versus the short stroke system that the SVD uses. And they also use similar looking magazines, but different looking mags. Different mags completely. They won't interchange. But PSL mags I find pretty regularly. We actually had a bunch of PSLs at one point that were pretty cool. But anyway, so just throwing it out there. SVD, however, does have the cool factor over there, right? Eric Motley, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Appreciate that. Glenn over here hopping on me about anyways. So there you go. Let's see here. Jerry Brooks, the last video, Top Pistol of 2023, you pulled out a 365 AXG Legion. Any videos coming out on that? Maybe soon. We shall see. Maybe soon, all right? But right now, it's ultimately, we've got, was it the 365 or was it the X5 Legion 226? Because that one's spicy there. But let's see here. Mark 18 is also heavy. That is very true, okay? Oh, Harkirat Minhas. He's asking a question that really hurts the heart here. When will you guys have older military surplus back in stock? At one point in time, warehouse walls were full. I mean, it was just wall-to-wall full of military surplus. Just wood stocks everywhere, right? And it was beautiful, and it was awesome. And there was enough character in the warehouse to, it doesn't take much character to do better skits on SNL, but there's enough character in the warehouse to provide enough content for SNL. You guys, that was probably not a good joke. But anyway, now I'm stuck on the anyway train. Thanks for that. It's a constant search, man. It's a constant search for, yeah, constant search. That's all I can say. A lot of the surplus that's out there right now is really, really expensive. And what can you do about that, right? So We're trying. We're trying. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. So we'll get there. We'll get there though. Let's see here. Let's get to a couple more, and then we're going to start talking a little bit about the content, or a little bit about what the title is here, because I want to talk to everybody about carrying, right? Because that's something that I think is really a lot of people are missing right now, is the fact that, yeah, you can, collect all the guns you want, buy all the guns you want, but if you're not actually carrying them and training with them, what's the point, right? Now, I'm guilty of having some safe queens. Don't get me wrong. I got a beloved M39 and M1 carbine and things like that kind of stay in there, and a couple other guns that kind of just hang out in the safe. But the guns that I would use in a, shit hits the fan situation or for everyday carry, I train with, I practice with regularly. And on top of that, I religiously carry, even more so now, where I was more like 80%. I would say 3 months ago even, I would probably have a gun on me about 80% of the time. I know that everybody's like, why not 100% of the time? Something like that. Hear me out, all right? If I knew I was just going to run right down the street to the grocery store or something, or just out to grab something at Dunkin' Donuts, I may or may not have grabbed my gun just to, have in the car with me, something like that, but not all the time. Now, it's such an avid practice that anytime I walk out of the house, I've got my firearm on me. Even going to the airport now, I carry my gun on me literally until I pull up. Once I get out of the vehicle, I'm not doing anything illegal at this point, right? I download my magazines, unload my gun, stick it in my Pelican case with my master locks now, because TSA has broken and lost a lot of my TSA locks. I just take the extra time to be present, as I always should have been, honestly, whenever they do their little test. But even now, when I'm just going to the airport, I have my firearm on me until I get there in the parking lot, and then I decide to go ahead and download the mags, clear it, and throw it in my Pelican case for air travel. And so there's something that you have to keep in mind when carrying a gun. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, it goes beyond just carrying. It's these mindsets and other things to keep to practice, even when you're not carrying a gun. And sometimes it even goes beyond that, right? At the airport, a lot of people think, that you can't get much safer, right? Because of all of the security and everything else that you have to go through in order to just get into the terminals. I feel like fish in a barrel at an airport, right? Like, who's to say workplace violence can happen anywhere and everywhere? We actually saw, just a few years ago, what was he, an aviation mechanic? Just finally said, I've had enough, steals a jet, does some pretty badass maneuvers, and then he says, I'm going to go crash this plane now, and kills himself because he was just tired of living and wanted to have a joy flight before ousting himself. Granted, there's not much my 9mm pistol is going to do against an airplane crashing into, a terminal or a building or anything like that. I mean, there's only so many things you can actually defend yourself against. But all it takes is just one person willing to commit an atrocity and do evil, And the best that I might have is maybe some of my level 3A bullet, soft body armor inserts in some of my backpacks, right? Other than that, what else? What else can I take with me to defend myself or anything like that at an airport, right? So extreme vigilance, hyper awareness in areas where I can't have my gun, right? Something like that to take into consideration. Other public transportation, things like that. I'm not going to say what I do or don't do if I see something posted on a building, but typically I look at that as a recommendation, just personally. I think about the shooting that took place in Maine, and I truly wonder, how did this guy do as much as he did, and not one person returned fire? Not one person. I think at the bowling alley, maybe I'd be willing to be a little bit more lenient at a bowling alley. Because I can tell you right now, if I went into a bowling alley, I knew I was going to be bowling, I knew I was going to be, doing all of that, it might not be that comfortable to be appendix inside the waistband carrying my firearm and a spare magazine. But maybe it's just the mindset that I have. Well, I wouldn't carry that holster then. I wouldn't have that entire sidecar type attachment, right? I'd probably have that's in a situation where I'd probably have my Canik MC9, and because it's just a gun in the holster, not any additional magazines or anything like that, pocket carry a mag, whatever. I'd still find a way to have, now at this point especially, find a way to have a gun on me. And if you're worried about, well, I'm going to be bowling and moving around, and I'm afraid maybe somebody might see my gun, or maybe it'll even fall out of the holster. Well, that's your problem that you need to fix. You shouldn't have these issues where you can't trust your gear or yourself with a firearm, right? Because that's ultimately what it comes down to. I go running with my guns, like my concealed carry. I go when I run around the neighborhood and stuff like that, I have a gun on me. And I've never had, and I never will, because I know my gear, I never will have a situation where my gun will fall out of the holster while concealed carrying. Have I had it happen before at a training event because I was using the wrong holster for the gun? Yep. That's what we call a learning moment. Was it a SIG P320? Yes. Did it go off when it hit the ground? No. Imagine that. So what are some things you guys take into consideration when you carry a firearm? I just gave you a couple of situations or scenarios, some things that I think about, right? And we'll talk a little bit more as I get into the live stream and everything, and to the live chat. In fact, let's go ahead and hop on over there really quick and see what you guys are talking about. Keith coming over here with the real stuff. Enjoy a sip. I think I will. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right. Something else to worry about is printing. Yep, I totally get that. Constitutional carry here. Where are you, Jaron? That's awesome. Gotta love constitutional carry. Rusty Shackelford is coming in with a pretty interesting mindset, and it's one that I honestly like. If the gun can't go, then neither can I. I get that. I'm starting at this point. It's like if I see a business, that says, if it's a privately owned business that says something along the lines of, we appreciate you not carrying here. I like the signs that say, keep your guns holstered unless the situation dictates you need to unholster it, right? Something like that. Or, legal carry, allowed on premise, whatever, or whatever. That I appreciate. But if somebody says, especially a privately owned business that said no guns allowed, okay, well, the great thing about capitalism in this country is I'll take my business elsewhere, right? So I totally understand this mindset coming from Rusty. What do you guys think about that? All right. We've got General Lee over here. We should also abolish the CIA, FBI, IRS, DOJ, and some others. You left out the big one, the ATF. But yes, I feel like there's some areas where some of these three-letter agencies do some good, right? The IRS, no. The FBI, what they do to interdict human trafficking, child trafficking, things like that, CSAMs and everything, that I can appreciate. I think, whenever it's politicized and weaponized like it has been, that's where I start to have some really big issues. And whenever these Fourth Amendment, whenever these agencies violate the Constitution, violate your Fourth Amendment rights, violate so many others, including your Second Amendment, hell, even including your First Amendment, that's when, we've got obviously tyrannical agencies in government, and that's not where it should be. In fact, what these agencies do, I feel like they should be employed in the reverse, right? Like the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives shouldn't be a regulatory agency for us citizens. That should be a regulatory agency against the government. That should be individuals like, I don't know, maybe myself. That would be the time I'd be considered an ATF agent. If I see these governors that are enacting Second Amendment pauses, hi, I am now an ATF agent knocking on this governor's door to say, excuse me, tyrant, you're going to come with me now, right? That's how I feel like these agencies should be employed and used, not regulatory agencies against the citizens. I mean, how ridiculous is it? I've said it in quite a few different live streams now. I've said it probably in a couple of different videos. How ridiculous is it that we are taxed to any amount? I mean, every and anything that you can think about, we're taxed. We're taxed on everything, and we're pretty much paying these agencies to trample us harder. It's ridiculous. I don't consider myself a cuck, but boy howdy, are we getting paid, or no, excuse me, are we getting taxed? Are we having to pay to be one? It's ridiculous. And so with that being said, I'm not for a lot of these agencies. And that's how I feel about that. So if the ATF was actually regulating the government, I'd support them. You know what I'm saying? We've got, let me get down here to a couple. TJ, my buddy, good to see you, man. Taxed on income, taxed on stuff you buy, taxed yearly for the stuff you own, taxed on the money you make, taxed on the money you spend, taxed on the air you breathe, thanks EPA, taxed on the roads that I drive with the vehicle that I paid taxes on. And they can't even fill the potholes. You know what I'm saying? But no, they can send billions of dollars to other countries in the world. Yeah. Again, congratulations, TJ. He's got a kid on the way, man. That's exciting. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a crazy world, bro. It's a crazy world. That is absolutely for sure. And, appreciate it. Kendra, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Taxation is definitely theft. Because, if you don't pay your taxes, you're threatened with imprisonment. You're threatened with further taxes. How is it not theft? And you can't tell them what you want them to do with the money that you're mandated to pay. Our so-called representatives are doing whatever is in their best interest. And somehow they keep getting reelected as well. I think what's going to be really interesting, I see that, where was that? Stephen G, taxes are voluntary. They are. That's something. But where was I going to go with it? I just think like our so-called representatives doing everything in their best interest somehow keep getting reelected. It's going to be really interesting this next election and how it's going to go. The most popular president, 81 million votes, something like that, is having a hard time getting people to show up to rallies. Apparently, I thought that was kind of funny when I heard about that. Interesting times, interesting things, Glenn Crava, I'll take a sip. I don't know if I'll chill or not. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Smart shooters over here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Canucks website says the MC9 was 2023. Laughing my ass off, MC9. What? No. Did I not mention the MC9? What was the video? I got to look at it, right? That video was recorded like a month ago. Okay. So I may have messed up. All right. I may have messed up. So I'm sorry. Anyway, appreciate it, man. Thank you. But, interesting times, man. Threatened under duress, taxes. Yep. It is taxation without representation. I was listening every now and then. I listen to Sirius Satellite XM, Satellite XM Sirius Satellite Radio, Sirius XM. And I heard, I can't remember his name. I think it's like Jones, West Virginia. It's a guy running for Congress in West Virginia's 1st District. And he said something that was really interesting on, I think it was Andrew Wilkow, his radio show, and I was listening to it. He said, just get rid of the 3-letter agencies. And I was like, as a blanket statement, like I said, there's some things that I do believe, some things I do believe that some of these agencies are doing some good. But they're, and I was listening to, I don't know if you guys listen to like the Sean Ryan show that, and recently he had on Victor Marx, and a lot of what Victor was saying was like, wow, that's, pretty deep stuff. Hard to believe, honestly, like crazy things that man has encountered in his life. But talking about Sean Ryan and Victor Marx among a bunch of other people, and I think a lot of us included, myself included, that good people in government are the minority, few and far between. And that's scary, sad that that's where we're at now, where I maybe it's just in the circles that I run and the people and the organizations that I run with are all like-minded, right? Echo chambers on top of echo chambers. So when I say I haven't talked to too many people that have a lot of trust in the government, that's not saying much. But at my old job, I worked for a big payroll and, human resources company. There were a lot of people there. I was the minority at that point with, my very conservative thinking, small government, obviously very pro Second Amendment. So it's easy for me to believe, honestly, that there are still a lot of people out there that actually think these representatives are representing the will of the people. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Just let me know what you guys think about that, all right? Heracrat, going back to the daily carrying, but do you guys like red dots or iron sights? And what red dots do you recommend? I'm currently running a Holosun 407. That is what I do believe I've got. 407, 507, K2, X, 507K, X2. I do believe that's what I've got on my 365X over there. I do like red dots on carry pistols. Honestly, I do. But let's be real. I don't think they're necessary whatsoever. In fact, some people might find them to be more cumbersome than needed, right? It's another point in which something can get snagged. It can induce a malfunction, things like that. But I honestly use my red dot, as, sometimes just to rack the slide as another, point like that. So, yeah, I do. But I always make sure my carry gun has a co-witness with the iron sights. Iron sight, red dot, they line up. And that's just because, as I've mentioned time and time again, red dots, optics can fail. Batteries die. Screens or lenses crack. Mud, dirt, whatever can get in the way of the red dot emitting, right? That's why closed emitters are becoming more and more popular. But if you have an open emitter red dot, like what I do on a lot of my guns, then those are some of the risks that you run when using those dots, because dirt, mud, snow, water can get in there and distort and even completely hide the emitter, and now you have no dot. And you got to get in there and try to scrub it out when you need to be sending rounds down range. So every now and then, that's why it's good to have an iron sight, because you can usually still see through your lens. If you can't, now you're on another big shit storm, because if you can't see through your lens, the thing that you're supposed to be co-witnessing your iron sights through, then you're not going to be able to see your front sight. And if you can't see your front sight, then personally, I'd rather just have a front sight and no rear sight if that had to be the situation. But it's not. So there you have it, right? So do I recommend? Yeah, as long as you train with it. If you're not going to be sending lots of rounds, and I mean lots of rounds downrange to be effective with your red dot, then just save the money, save the extra material, save the weight, and just run iron sights. Less to snag, less weight, less money you're spending on an optic, and put that money towards ammo and training. Or a good holster. If you don't have a good holster, then that's the first thing you need to be investing in. All right? So there you go. I hope you guys agree with that, because if you don't, you're wrong. But just let me know what you guys think about that, all right? And let's get over here, because I saw another super chat come on through over here with my buddy Smart Shooters LLC. The most American thing any of us can do right now is exercise. Exercise our Second Amendment rights. Train, carry, prepare, build, get in shape, and build an AR-15 or 5. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. I am feeling really, really good. Let's talk about this, because that's one thing I mentioned in the title of tonight's live stream. Vigilance, preparedness, fitness, and other things like fitting this gun into my waistband, trying to cut down on that beer gut. You know what I'm saying? As I look at my glass here, or my cup. That's not beer, so less calories. I am proud to be saying I have been religiously going back to the gym as well. And I will not confirm nor deny if I'm carrying a gun while I'm at the gym. Do I have gym clothes that allow me to carry a firearm? Yes, absolutely. So there you go, right? So let's talk about fitness, because that's something. How many of you guys see these Instagram operators? Hell, I'm guilty. I'm one, right? I like throwing up videos every now and then of running some drills. If you were on Rumble watching, then that's all you got on repeat was me just running a simple drill with the Mark 18 and my one of my plate carriers by Guard Dog, and just doing some lateral movements and then backing out, right? And just having some fun. And but how many of you seen these, like, Instagram operators that I can understand if some people are struggling with their weight. I can totally get it, and they're trying to get that maintained, and they're working at it. More power to you. Do it, right? But some of these guys just think, I'll be fine. I got my body armor and I got my gun. I don't need nothing else. I've said it in so many different videos. I've said it in so many different live streams now. You guys got to get your fitness in check. You got to get your physical fitness in check. Doesn't matter if you've got, again, said it so many times. Doesn't matter if you've got all the Gucci gear anybody could ever ask for. You got a $10,000 gun with every kit all of it, right? If you can't carry it 100 yards without getting winded, you've got a problem. So get in a good fighting shape. That's something we got to in this society at this point, because we don't know when evil's going to come knocking, guys. It could happen right now during this live stream. Somebody could try to kick in my door, and it would probably not turn out well for them, because I've got two dogs that they don't mind gnawing on me a little bit, but I think they would gnaw on somebody they don't know a little bit harder. And I feel a little comfortable with where I'm sitting right now. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So take that for what you will. It could happen when I'm out running one day and I'm already winded because I'm doing cardio, which sucks, but I'm doing it. and all of a sudden I got to draw down on something. It could come in the form of a bobcat, I mean, so again, everybody's shit hits the fan situation is different, and it can change in a moment, right? So get out there, guys. And gym memberships, hell, Planet Fitness, I mean, they're pretty cheap, right? The closest gym near me now is 30 minutes away, and I'm making that drive. I've got some workout equipment down here in my bunker, but it's not all the things that I really like a rowing machine. That's how I like to start my workout, just to get the heart rate up some. I do 1,000 meters on the rowing machine with pretty good resistance there. Then depending on whatever I'm working out that day, I try to do at least an hour, and starting light, moving my way up, and going until I fail. It's not just 10 every time. It's going until I literally, I might get only 4 reps in after I've done 6 sets, and now I'm at the heaviest I've gone, and I can't go anymore, or I hurt my shoulder, which I hurt my shoulder years ago grappling, so I can only go as far as that'll let me, but I'll go. And then I like to end my workout with at least 5 minutes on one of the Stairmasters. And that's something I'm starting to work out now because I hate my scrawny legs. You know what I'm saying? So, so leg days are coming up, chest, back, arms, different parts of the arms, whether it's tricep, bicep, whatever it might be. I'll be honest with you. I haven't started working abs just yet because that's like my least favorite. So there's that. But what are some of y'all's favorite workouts at the gym? What are some of the things that you guys are practicing to make sure that you're not only an asset to society? That's great and all, but what about your family, right? What about your family? What are you doing for them at the end of the day? Because if you can't defend yourself, how are you supposed to defend them, right? And if you can't fight for yourself, how are you supposed to fight for them, right? So just things to think about. Let me know, all right? And let me hop over here to Rumble to get to some of these questions, and then I'll get right back on over to some of the super chats that have come in and others here, so just give me just a moment. But first of all, Bison2332 was a fan of the repeat Mark 18. He loved it. So relaxing on Rumble there, that intro video. Greetings from Alaska. 1 degree up there, Alaska, Ted. Goodness gracious. Yo, best carry options for California. Painful combat. I think we're going to actually have that conversation pretty soon. Be on the lookout for that video, all right? AK Ted, chest holster and FN 510 for the outdoors. Nice. That's pretty solid setup there. Cody Blees, hey, y'all. Hope everyone's having a good holiday week. Any fun plans for the weekend? I'll be seeing some family, Yeah, I'll be traveling, with a gun. Cody Blees, do you think we're coming to a time where wearing concealed soft armor is something we should be considering? I got my concealed soft armor shirt literally right here. Right there. Starting to, I personally, I'm not going to be wearing it all the time. It's not going to be something I'm going to go out with all the time. And, it's nice that we have that option and availability. But it also is going to depend on where you're at, right? Like, if you're in Chicago or something, then yeah, maybe going out with some soft armor, concealable soft armor is not a bad idea. But if you're, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, small towns, stuff like that, yeah, maybe not as necessary. I say that, but then we see what happened in Maine, right? So, yeah, So, I don't know. I'm going to let that one be up to you guys. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what you think is best for you and yours, right? The thing is that the option to wear said armor, to carry whatever gun, should be available to everyone. That shouldn't be something regulated. That shouldn't be something, whatever, dude. It's all protected under the Second Amendment, whether or not a lot of these assholes want to admit that, right? So it should be available. So that way you can make up your mind about what you deem fit. Okay? So there you go. Rian, R-I-I-E-N on Rumble. America had rebellions over taxes on tea. Now look at us. It goes, yeah, you look at the Boston Tea Party, right? been to Boston, visited the harbor, poured my Earl Grey out. It goes, it was a lot more than that, but it was definitely taxation without representation. 3%, right? Wasn't it like a 3% tax, something like that? Now, I don't even like looking at my pay and earnings statement because I'm not seeing at what I'm being paid and what I've earned. I'm looking at what I'm paying and what the government is taking from me. What I've earned is going to Ukraine and Israel and so many other countries that, quite frankly, ain't got shit to do with us. I said it, and we can have that conversation here in just a minute. But now look at us. The government owns a monopoly on violence, and they've grown too large. You're absolutely right. If you guys, a monopoly on violence. Well said. Well said. Cody Blees, have you ever tried Hooten Young whiskey? They work with Jack Carr and the terminal list, but they aren't sold in many places. No. You know, there's a lot of these different, look, I am a veteran, right? You know, still actively serving in the reserves. But we're at a point now where there's so many veteran-owned companies, and they're taking that title of veteran and throwing it on anything. And in this country, I love it. You know, we're patriotic. We want to support our troops and everything. And they want to say, oh, a veteran did this, so it's got to be good. And then you try it, and it might taste like shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, there's so much of that out there and associations with all these different military organizations and groups and everything. It's kind of like, you know, saturated, if you will. But if the Hooten Young whiskey that you're talking about is actually good, I'd be happy to try them and, you know, say that's what I'm drinking tonight on one of the live streams or whatever. But if you're proud of your product, which if you're in business and you're selling a product, you should be proud of it. I totally get that. But it just feels like there's so much veteran owned and operated. Oh, what'd you do? I was a career planner. Oh. All right, then. You know, there's just so much of that out there. Oh, well. Let's see here. Cody Blee is also definitely guilty of not working out enough. I'm guilty of it, too. I am totally guilty of it. I look at myself on video, and I think, dear God, why would anybody listen to me? You know what I mean? Or want to have a conversation with me. And, yeah, so I'm just going to keep working on that. It's going to keep going. SSGL, Lincoln Osiris. Staff, not SSGL, it's Staff Sergeant Lincoln Osiris. What kind of doggos do you have? Got a German Shepherd, a long-haired German Shepherd, and a Chow Lab mix. I had a couple of pitties, but personal life, X has those. Sad, I miss them. But anyway, Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster, thank you for the super chat on Rumble, man. Is 300 blackout worth getting? I personally believe it is. I love a 300 blackout shorty for home defense and a truck gun. Totally think it. To a 1973 dead hang pull-ups, best thing on Rumble. Dead hang pull-ups, they are a good workout. That's for damn sure. All right. There we go. Oh, man. Barefoot Gardener, good to see you, man. What's up, Clint? Good to see you. Let's hop on over to some of the super chats we got in over here. We already talked about Smart Shooters LLC, talking about the most American thing any of us can do right now is exercise our 2A rights. Train, carry, prepare, build, get in shape. Absolutely. Bakulu Baka, what's up, man? Clint, do you see yourself getting into politics in the near future? Dude, politics is it's a dirty business. And I don't know. I'd have to have like a really serious calling to get into politics. I don't think I'd have the patience for it. You know, I mean, I can be very patient. I can be very good with people. But there's only so much stupidity that I could handle, and ignorance and lies being told
I don't see how anybody in Congress can hear when Nadler or any of these other assholes start spewing off and saying that braces effectively turn your AR pistol into machine guns and things like that. I can't understand how some of the representatives that actually know what braces do and don't do. Thomas Massey did a wonderful thing. I mean, he came out calm, cool, collected, pretty much said that's not at all how that works, right? I just feel like I would be dropping a lot of F-bombs and just, damn, you're dumb. And then I'd say something like, tyrant should hang. And then I'd list off everybody I think was a tyrant, which is probably going to be most, So maybe that's the change we need. Perhaps it is. But as far as, first of all, thank you for the super chat. But as far as me seeing myself getting involved in politics, not at this time. It is, like I said, it'd have to be a serious calling. Put it this way. If 100,000 of you did a write-in, if 100,000 of you wrote in Clinton Morgan, Mag Dump Morgan for political office, all right, fine. Oh, God. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. Sic Semper Tyrannis. Absolutely. Absolutely. You see it on Virginia state flag, right? I mean, they're trampling a tyrant. Sic Semper Tyrannis. Avocado Atrocity Bro just gave up info to his dogs to the ATF. They already knew. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to ask them if those are level 4 plates they're wearing. And maybe they should not shoot the dog that's standing still in the corner. Oh, man. Continuing on over here. Let me see. Kevin Shook. Unfortunately, it would appear many politicians get into office and forget to represent their constituents, not themselves. Yep. You're absolutely right about that. How many career politicians? We got one in office right now. Well, we got several in office. One holding the office of the President of the United States. Career politicians have we seen get filthy rich. Filthy rich. And there's supposed to be laws against insider trading and backdoor deals and stuff like that. Okay. I like the idea. There should be no guaranteed income for any representative. The income that you should get is the median wage earned of the constituents in your district. That's how I feel about that. All right? It used to be a government for the people, by the people. And there's some that I think actually get in there. Some that I actually think get in there and really, truly want to do good. They want to represent the people that have voted them, the people that have actually put them there. I think some of them get in there and their intentions are good. And then maybe the power goes to their head. I'm a U.S. congressman. I'm a U.S. senator. Come on, officer. You don't want to give me a ticket, do you? Starts with something as simple as that, right? One of you guys just said it. Where the hell was it? Where was it? I can't remember what it was. Laws for thee, but not for me. You know what I mean? One of you just commented it. I saw it. Sorry I missed it, but that's that. And let me catch on this though, because yeah, there it is. Thank you, Lucifer Moningster 21. Laws for ye, but not for thee. Yes, you know what I mean. There's so much of that. Now, Chase, let me argue with you really quick. Chase Kirkwood says term limits, period. And here's why I don't necessarily agree with term limits, all right? What we need is not a limit on who the people are voting for, but ultimately a society, individuals responsible enough to know who they're voting for. If they want somebody who, I don't know, maybe they like the leadership. I'm not going to say leadership. Maybe they like the representation that they've been getting by somebody and they want to keep going with that individual for years and years and years and years. Okay, so be it, right? That's what the people have ultimately decided for. And I'm not mad about that. What I'm mad about is the fact that we need term limits because we've got such a lazy society that aren't willing to vote for anybody other than a common name that they've seen before, or because they have a certain letter next to their name. We get rid of the two-party system, remove the D, the R, the L, whatever's next to anybody's name, and we say, and we don't have images of anybody, because as much as we don't want to admit it, I guarantee you there's still voting that takes place based off of color or race, religion even. No, I want to see their voting history, the platforms. I don't give a shit what they look like. I don't care anything about that. I want to know, what have you voted for in the past? Where are you coming from? That's why I like what Vivek is saying, right? But where's this guy coming from? Right? Big Pharma? I don't know. Vivek, if you'd like to have a conversation, I've heard a lot of his talking points. Again, I like a lot of what he's doing. I like how he's a mover and a shaker. I like how he's stirring the pot. I like all of that. That's all fine and well. But can we trust him in this sense, right? There's nobody in politics that I really can trust. The only person that I truly know that's involved in politics now is Brandon Herrera. I can trust him. I know I can trust him. And he can trust me if I see him start doing, political bullshit. I'll say, hey, big dog. Hey, Brandon. Hey, AK guy. Didn't you say you were running against Tony Gonzalez because he was doing shit like this? Right? And he'd be like, oh, fuck that. I don't think he would ever lose base like that, though. You know what I mean? So my thing about term limits is, if that's who the people want, let them have it. However, why we need term limits is because we've got a lazy society that's not actually taking it upon themselves to see who they're voting for. They're not voting for people based off of their voting record, based off of what they've done. They're not looking at where they were just 3 years ago, right? And saying, am I better off now? Or was I better off then? So what are you going to do? I vote. It's my constitutional right. I vote too. But at the same time, all of this doesn't matter. I guess you can choose not to trust the voting process and still go vote. I don't know if I don't know if I trust it. Maybe where I live, I'm cool with it. But you look at what happened to these different counties, all of the vote harvesting that took place this last election. And it's also like, there's so many people, and another reason why we need term limits, there's so many people that are willing to turn a blind eye to it, like, oh, that didn't happen. What? Are you serious? Are you sure? And I didn't miss any super chats. I see you there. I just haven't gotten to them just yet. All right, I'm getting there though. Okay, I'm getting there. But that's ultimately what we were talking about here. Going back to Bakulu, thank you again for that super chat. It was a long one. I know it was a long response. We got Jimmy James. Woo, thank you for the super chat. I think most Americans have become too complacent. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. That was actually a word, complacency, that I was thinking about throwing in today's title. Vigilance, preparedness, fitness, and other things to consider. Complacency. We've gotten so comfortable with our daily lives. Feed them and give them entertainment, and you can control them forever. And that's exactly what we're seeing. I think most Americans have become too complacent. Thank you also for using the proper to. We have allowed the government to completely rule us. We let them do it. We are the ones that have to undo it. No politician can save us. You just had to say saved us. And, I get it, man. You're right. No politician can save us. It might be a little bit better if one guy gets in over the other, but they're not going to save us. Everybody promises to fix everything, but come on. Nobody's actually done it. You know what I mean? And nobody ever will. What you going to do? Andy Dom 130. I see you. When will AOKH have more level 2 holsters in stock? I think they just posted something on their Instagram. That's my Alpha Mega Kydex holster right here. I've got a level 2 on my on my belt. And I think they just posted something about it. Right now, my buddy Eric and Alpha Mega Kydex holsters, they are moving into a bigger facility. So they should be ramping up production here sometime next year or something rather. And yes, I do plan on touring that facility, even if it's just on my own, just to go support my buddy Eric. So big shout out to Eric and Alpha Mega Kydex holsters, of course. So when will they have more in stock? Follow them on Instagram, AOK holsters, AO.Kydex holsters. Follow them on Instagram, and you can keep up with them there, all right? Let's see here. Gary Jerrietta. I hope I said that right. Garietta? Gary. First of all, it's Gary, not Jerry. Gary. Thank you, Gary, for the super chat. Appreciate it. How detrimental do you think a compensator muzzle brake is for a home defense gun for those of us in communist states? So a muzzle brake would be pretty detrimental. A compensator, not as bad. No, like think about like an A2 comp. If you've ever shot a muzzle brake indoors, now like at an indoor range, yeah, it's concussive, it's loud, it's not comfortable. Now imagine that not in a wider indoor range, but in your hallway, and those sounds are bouncing off the walls immediately next to the muzzle and then coming right back into your eardrums. And now all of a sudden your ears are screaming, holy hell. But the good news is the criminal is probably screaming holy hell too, hopefully because you shot him. But if you pulled the trigger, then, you've already gone that far. Hopefully you got the hit. So, I would go compensator in that case. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Gary, for the super chat. Hungry 40 is good to see you again. Hope all is well, brother. Slowly getting back into active duty shape so I can live long enough to see 2A rights in Hawaii, like suppressors and AR pistols. That would be cool, right? That would be cool. That would be very cool. So, continuing on over here. All right. On your boop boop. That was me talking about my Alpha Mega Kydex right here, level 2, boop boop, with my 320 in there. So there you go. All right. Let me back up a little bit here to get back into the chat some. I can't remember if some of you, well, not that I can't remember, but yeah, that's a good, in God we trust, make politicians dislike serving again. Yeah. Let's see here. Generally, the ATF should just be a gas station. I'm not mad about that. Power corrupts all. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? Yeah. I think that's where we're at. Now, Keith Decker, Brandon Herrera should run the ATF. I wouldn't be mad about that, all right? Man. Tax stamps, what are those? You know what I'm saying? The NFA and all that should, just go away. Andy Dom, by the way, great to see you. Clint, hope all is well. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Backdoor deals call head of transportation. Oh, Jesus. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I made it here to a couple of them. Let's see. Mark Gray and Mary Beth. I have an MR 920. Solid option. Definitely a fan of that. If shit hits the fan, what's your do-it-all go-to rifle? Steve Stuck. Probably my M4A1. It's hidden behind my my little gear tree here. But this guy right here. And I've recently changed up the optic setup on it yet again. I decided, ladies and gentlemen, EOTech and magnifier is the way I wanted to go for now, because I've got the ACOG on my LMT, you know. So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, probably my M4A1 R3 with the Flow 556K Huxworks silencer. Probably where I'd go. Probably. No, I do love my Mark 12 though. It's a little bit more streamlined and just feels really good. It's not in picture though for you guys right now. So let's see here. Brad Parker, Clint, you seem like a stand-up guy. Politics will take that from you. And, you know, if it's possible, anything's possible, right? But I think about so many people that get into politics, and like I said before, I think a lot of them get into it for good reasons. They have good intentions. And then, I don't know what it is, but we start to see the downfall. I don't know. Oh, Nikito Nipungo. Help me to decide PDP, Echelon, or SFX Pro. I think we had a similar question like this last live stream. In fact, something I want to do is go back to some of the comments on the last live stream and see what some of you guys were talking about last week. Decent views, decent engagement on that one there. Just wanted to see what some of you guys were talking about. But we did talk a little bit about a comparison. I know the SFX Pro was there, the Echelon, but I don't remember if the PDP was or if it was a different one. It might have been 320. I know we talked 320 and Glock, but PDP is an excellent choice. The Echelon is an excellent choice. The SFX Pro is an excellent choice. The Echelon really surprised me with how good, how fun and ergonomic that pistol is. The extended base plate, that was an issue. The extended base plate magazines, they're pretty weak, so there's that. But yeah, if I had to choose between any one of those, personally, and I'll give you my reason as to why I'd go with the PDP. I don't have as much experience with the PDP, and on top of that, I know it's solid, and that's why I'd go with it, because I'd want to do more with it. The Echelon and the SFX Pro, I got a lot of experience with. Both of them are great guns. Both of them, I think the SFX might be, I mean, it's been out a little bit longer than the Echelon, and I've never had any issues with the SFX Pro by Canik. But, you know, so that's what I do. Luke B. I guess my oldest daughter is goth now. I mean, like, how goth, right? So, all right. As far as I understand, there's different levels and variations of goth. There's like emo, goth, things like that, right? And I know when I went through high school, and so many others, you know, everybody might struggle a little bit with their identity, you know, especially depending on where you went. And when I went to high school, you know, I was trying to think of different music I liked, you know, and wearing T-shirts I know I'd never wear now, or, you know, whatever. We all grow, we all learn, we all go through different phases and things like that. You know, so I don't know you. I don't know your family. I definitely don't know your daughter. But I mean, unless this is like, a pseudonym and we're actually friends or something, I don't know. But as far as I can tell from your picture, I don't think I know you. But if your oldest daughter is goth, one thing you can do is, again, I don't know the levels here. Embrace it, right? I just think, hell, she's going through something. It might be something she's into. As long as she's staying safe, that's something. Yeah. I mean, Kendra, embrace it. Yeah, what kind of, I don't know. I think, like she's listening to My Chemical Romance, and I don't know. I don't take it the wrong way. I just don't know the situation. It's not the conversation we usually have here on the live streams. But if it's something that really is bothering you, is she willing to hear you out, right? Talk to you. I think communication, especially with your kids, is probably a very important thing. And if there's anything I learned from my childhood, you can't impose your will onto your kid. They're going to grow up, they're going to experience things, they're going to learn things, and you're not always going to be there to protect them either. But the best you can do is let them know you love them. All you want to do is make sure that they're taken care of and safe, and be there for them. Yeah. Thinking about my childhood, So, continuing on. Daryl Watkins, yep, same Keith. I'm a high school teacher. So there you go. Keith Decker, high school was late 80s. Goth was black everything, same. I don't know. I know. High school, 70s, what's goth anyways? John Wakamatsu II, just because a parent doesn't like something is what they are doing actually wrong. Support your children, So there you go. Dr. Clint. Oh, geez. I don't know about that. So there you go. There you go. Here we go. Getting back into the conversation here. JC6683, thank you, man. Spring, summer, Springfield Hellcat Pro, solid choice. Fall, winter, Glock 19X or PDP F Series as my everyday carry. Something a little bit more full-bodied, if you will. Yep, makes sense, right? And so what, and again, let's get back to that conversation too. I'm nobody's therapist or anything like that, unless we're talking shot placement and group therapy in that situation. I'd be happy to talk to you about that. But there you go. Actually, this is a point to make. Scott the Prussian Rash. Goths are harmless. They're nihilistic. I think nihilism is actually quite harmful. If you're always asking, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? Nothing matters. You don't see beyond now, right? I think that's a harmful mindset. Nihilism, I think, is quite dangerous, personally. Old Dirty Shinobi, agreed. Nihilism is toxic. Great insight, Clint. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ewok Cartel. Because tonight is the night that I'll fall for you. Over again. Yep. All right. Look, I had my emo days too. All right. I was into that shit, Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny. Sig229 Legion, single action only, yay or nay? So I haven't had any experience with the 229, but the 226 X5 Legion, oh, it's hot. It's real hot. So there's that. All right. Let's see here. Steve Hughes recommends spend time with her. Depending on your kid too. That she might not want to spend time with you, right? I can get how that would be a difficult thing also. Eric Nilsson, looking for a good holster for a 365X macro with a TLR7 sub and Holosun 507K optic. Wow, it's almost like I have that exact same setup with my Alpha Omega Kydex holster. Right here. How about that? Let's see here. Bobby Berry, Clint, even though braces are back on the menu, it seems many people are going back to 16-inch setups. Thoughts? It makes sense because the performance you get out of the 5.56 round out of a 16-inch barrel compared to anything shorter makes sense. There's a reason why a 16-inch barrel length just works, right? Obviously, that was the minimum set forth, thanks National Firearms Act, Gun Control Act, and all that type of bullshit. But the 16-inch barrel length was pretty much the law, right? Anything shorter than that, now you're playing in NFA territory, right? Granted, that was before, pistols and all that type of stuff, braces and everything else. But the advantages you get again, like I said, the performance you get out of a 16-inch barrel, it just beats shorties 5.56 any day of the week. So if we're talking about a 16-inch setup in 5.56, granted, if we're talking 300 blackout, which we've already mentioned a little bit, and how I really do like 300 blackout, then yes, honestly, I kind of laugh when I see a 16-inch 300 blackout. I'm like, why? I get it. Velocity and pressures are still a thing. I get it. But short barrel 300 blackouts are just the bee's knees. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Jessica Sim 44, favorite HK rifle and pistol. I guess the answer can be MP7. Because I can't have it. So there. We had another super chat come through over here by my man Tanner. Thank you so much, man. For my 11.5 inch BCM, can't decide between an Aimpoint T2 or a Comp M5S. Is there any difference of pros and cons? So the Aimpoint T2 is somewhere on my desk that I cannot find at this moment. The Aimpoint T2, excellent little red dot. The Comp M5S, excellent little red dot. Honestly, the only thing I find difference in those are the batteries that they take. The T2 takes, your regular 2032. I think the M5 is... What battery does the Comp M5 take? I do not remember. I know it's different. Sorry guys, low battery compartment. Where the hell is it? Battery. Oh my god. Control F for the win. Let's see here. Okay. Well, I'm trying to find... Oh, power source specifications. There it is. AAA. Jesus, Clint. So I find the T2 and the M5 to be obviously very similar, just different battery, right? So if you wanted to roll with something, again, depending on your power level, it still has great battery life, but it just takes AAA versus, I think, the 2032 that the T2 takes. It's personal preference at the end of the day. Obviously, you've got less material on the T2 because you don't have that larger battery compartment hanging off the side of the Comp M5 like you do on the Comp M5. Excuse me as I run out of breath. So it really is personal preference. Both of them are great dots, though. I like them both. The only reason I have a T2 here is because that's what we had laying around. We also have an M5, but it was on a gun at the time. So either way, you're going to be getting a really good red dot. It just comes down to battery life or battery that you want. So there you go. T2 slightly smaller. Yeah, there you go. So Benjamin Falkenberg, my opinion on the Glock performance trigger is, why isn't that the standard Glock trigger. One of the biggest things anybody and everybody harps on with Glock, other than, you know, them being basic, is the trigger. And the Glock performance trigger is a $100 upgrade that you can buy. That should be the standard trigger in Glock. It feels amazing. It's not too light of a trigger pull. If I were to buy a new Glock today and I was going to use it as my carry gun, that would be the trigger I drop into it. That's that. And that's exactly how I feel about that. And so does Rusty Shackelford. Glock performance trigger is the trigger that should be in a Glock to begin with. Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. Agree with that. Thank you, Blaine, for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Hello there, Clint. Love your videos and the channel. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts on the Blackout Defense and their Quantum Mark II? I hate to say this and to you, Blaine, but I have no experience with Blackout Defense and their Quantum Mark II. So that's something that hopefully will change, because I want to have experience with just about all the guns, and ammunition and optics and everything. So that way I could talk more educationally and with experience when I talk with you guys. So forgive me. I know you sent in a super chat. It's probably a little disheartening that I am not able to give you an honest opinion or any experience there. But unfortunately, if anybody else has any experience with Blackout Defense, Mike Riley does. So thank you, Mike. Blackout Defense is awesome. I get sub MOA at 100 and MOA at 800. Wow. Easy shooting, easy handling, awesome trigger, shoots fast, color options, cryo barrel. Love mine. I use it as a mid-long range. Thank you, Mike, for doing my job. I appreciate it. So there you go. I hope that, answers your question there, Blaine. Thank you so much for the super chat. And hopefully my personal experience will change. And I'll have some with the Blackout Defense. All right, Matthew Martinez, Glock 43X or 19 for first gun to buy for concealed carry. Personally, the Glock 19. The Glock 19 is just, it can be your everyday carry. It can be your concealed carry. The options are endless. And the Glock 43X might be better for concealed carry, but for a more versatile, all-around great gun, Glock 19. All right, so there you go. David Clyburn, and thank you again for the super chat, Matthew. Appreciate it. David Clyburn, what's my view on the P80? Polymer 80 is awesome. Love P80. Love what they do there. They are encouraging people to build their own guns, which, excellent. Can't go wrong with that. Big fan of P80. All right, so there you go. Also, yes, Glenn Crava, Glock sights do suck, and I wish they'd get rid of those too. But I think the reason they do that, though, is like, bro, they want to keep the price down competitively, I guess. And they already know that the aftermarket support for sights that fit your Glock is so vast that it's kind of like, why change anything? They could stockpile hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these little plastic crappy sights at little to no cost at this point. Why not just throw them on a gun? They're going to spend whatever they want to put on whatever sight they want, right? Whatever. It's kind of like a lot of high-end AR manufacturers throwing on A2 grips, right? People are probably going to swap it out for something else anyway, so why spend the money on an upgraded grip? LWRCI did it right. LWRCI is one of the few manufacturers that puts on their own grip, and it's good. It's really good. It's so good that I wouldn't actually switch the grip out. You know what I mean? So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Jessica, Simp44, AR-15 is the Glock of rifles. I mean, yeah, it's an umbrella of things, right? It covers a lot, right? As where an AR-15 is a style at the end of the day, Glock is a manufacturer, you know what you're getting. And yeah, you can turn it into pretty much whatever you want, which is cool. However, arguably, AR-15s are more modular than Glocks. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying, though, as far as just being I get it. Dylan, Clint, will you inherit classic firearms? Probably not. Probably not. And honestly, I'm probably wouldn't be that good of a businessman. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at all the things that we have available to us to purchase and sell. And I would say, yes, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that, knowing we probably would only sell 1 to 2 units, but I would want something personally. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why we don't sell $20,000 to $30,000 NVGs, or carry them, or, we might drop ship one here or there or something like that. But there's a reason why we don't readily stock them. And then if I owned Classic, I would have at least a dozen on the shelf, or maybe have like at least 5 or 6 that would be, for video use, when really they're just for me and my friends to go out stargazing. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Oh my goodness. Blaine, now you're good. Still a big fan and appreciate what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Blaine. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. The most important question for the night, Ford or Chevy? I guess I'm going to have to go with what I've owned. And what I owned was a 1990 Corvette ZR1. That was the first year of the C4 ZR1. There was a C3 ZR1 that was mostly a suspension and cosmetic thing, but not really like a huge performance factor. But the LT5 engine of the ZR1, I fell in love with. I love the history behind the car, how they ultimately partnered with Mercury Marine to build it, to build the engine. And having owned a C4 ZR1, I'm going to have to go with Team Chevy. I know that's probably going to upset a lot of people. That doesn't mean I dislike Ford, because there's a lot that I do like about Ford, but then they introduced this electric Mustang hybrid thing and this Ford Lightning, which does not pay homage to the original Ford Lightning badass truck that was. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just an electric truck, sure, with a lot of torque, but it will never be the Ford Lightning. Yeah, I'm Team Chevy or Toyota. So there you go. Oh man, let's see here. Jimmy James, woo, thank you again, man, for the super chat. Thoughts on the VKTR VK1? Also love my DD4 M4 V1 quad rail, 14.5 with the EOTech and magnifier, A5 buffer system. A5 buffer system is smooth. Yes, it is. EOTech magnifier, 14.5. Good stuff. Right, now, as far as the VKTR VK1, bro, just like with Blaine, I'm sorry, no experience. In fact, I'm looking it up because I want to see VKTR Industries. Yes, I am 18 years of age. VK1. It looks pretty sweet. Looks like we got ambi controls. Yeah, that's a good looking rifle. I have not heard of VKTR Industries, however, but that looks nice. Piston driven. Oh, piston driven AR-15. I thought I was looking at a DI gun here. No, now that I look at it underneath the handrail, yeah, that's a piston driven. How about that? Okay. That looks like something I want to get my hands on for sure. VKTR Industries. If they're going to be at SHOT Show, I'm going to find them. All right? So hold me to it, okay? And yes, I will try to go live while at SHOT Show. It probably won't be Monday night because that's the same night as the Gundies, which is also the same day as the industry day at the range. Help. I'm already going to be wore out, and it's going to be day one of SHOT Show on Tuesday. Good God. So, there we go. David Clyburn wants to know if I would do a video with Demolition Ranch. Absolutely, we would do a video together. In fact, we've worked together, but not on screen together. Ask him where he got his Barrett from. All right, so there you go. Let's see here. Big Islander, I have the DDM4A1R3. Is it worth SBRing it for a suppressor, or should I just slap on a pistol brace and take off the pin and weld? That's not how that works. I will... Just because you slap on a pistol brace doesn't mean you bypass NFA rules. All right. So I will say that. So there are other options. I know locally I've got a guy that will pin and weld. There's a FFL not far from where I live that will pin and weld muzzle devices. And I took my LMT, got the pin and weld muzzle device that it comes with off, and put a Surefire War Comp on it. And so you can send off your rifle, or you can just ask, if you have a local gun shop that does gunsmithing, just ask them. Just ask them if they've got the means to pin and weld your muzzle device, and they can do that for you. All right. So there are things you can do. Now, the reason I would kind of go against SBRing it at this point is I'm so against the NFA now that I honestly don't want to SBR anything. I don't want to. I've got a bunch of silencers I need to pay tax stamps on to be able to possess. But right now, I'm under Classics SOT. So, it's like I don't feel like donating to the ATF and to the government, which is why silencers, first of all, they're not a weapon, should be removed from the National Firearms Act. Why are they? They're a safety device. It's Huxworks Safety Co. You know what I mean? They're a safety device at the end of the day. Why are these being regulated as if they are weapons when all they are a piece of cylinder metal, a piece of metal in the shape of a cylinder? Yes, obviously with, intricate designs internally and baffles and stuff like that. But you get what I'm saying. Most of them, do I have one laying around here? Most of them wouldn't even make a good melee item, a blunt object, because they're either too short, not heavy enough. I could throw it at somebody, I guess. But I could do that with my bottle of Lagavulin and be a lot more effective at hurting somebody. And it's a lot cheaper than a silencer, too. This is why gun laws are stupid. All of them. All of them. I don't care. Anybody, ask all of your friends that are anti-gun. One gun law that they think that they might be able to say makes sense. And try to argue with me on it. Any of them. Any of them. NFA is because Hollywood libs. Well, the National Firearms Act of 1934 goes back to the gangsters of the day, John Dillingers and such, and all that type of stuff, who were cutting down Browning automatic rifles, cutting down the stocks, cutting down the barrels, and hiding them under their trench coats while they were robbing banks and all that type of fun stuff, Ah, man. Movies Mystic. Yeah. Cuz Hollywood. Yeah. Screw them all, man. Screw them all. Oh, well. So there you have it. So let's see here. Go live at the range. So the thing is, I don't know. I don't know about, they might have Wi-Fi out there, actually. I think they've actually had Wi-Fi in the years past, but I don't know how well the connection would be, if it would actually be worth going live. And on top of that, the day at the range is going to be so loud, you guys wouldn't be able to hear me anyway. Now, I probably could just walk around live streaming where I'm going, maybe even just have my camera or my phone on my chest and just walk around as I'm shooting. You guys can see these things firsthand. That would be kind of cool. All right, we'll play with the idea. We'll see how it goes. I'll run it by my team, and they might say it wouldn't make sense because that might take away from viewing the footage we get. That wouldn't there's no way. So I'll think about it. Let me know if you guys think that would be pretty cool, all right? Hungry 40s, which gun conventions can civilians meet you at? Well, on occasion, we go to some that are open to the public, like the NRA annual meet, but I know most of you probably don't want to support the NRA, so there's that. But some, a lot of gun manufacturers, different companies make unveils at the NRA annual meet. So we do like to go there. Honestly, we like to go because, for one, the protesters are sometimes fun to interact with, and two, it's really good to catch up with a lot of our homies, you know what I mean? So that's why it's a lot of fun to go to the NRA annual meet. And because it is open to the public, that means we actually can see a lot of you guys, which is pretty cool. SHOT Show being hosted in Vegas. If you're in the area, there's always stuff happening post SHOT Show. And you'll be able to see all sorts of manufacturer reps from some of your favorite and least favorite manufacturers. You'll be able to see all of these individuals and personalities that you see here on the internet, just walking around, whatever, So if you're already in the Vegas area and you just go hang out at any bar, I'm sure you'll see somebody from SHOT Show walk in, all right? Truth hurts. Have fun for us while at SHOT Show. If you guys have seen our years past SHOT Show coverage, you'll know that, we have fun, but I'm in quite a bit of pain too. So there's that, all right? But as far as which gun conventions, thank you, Hungry 40s, for the super chat, can civilians meet you? It just depends on what all we're doing, so I think that's something I think my New Year's resolution for 2024 is going to be to go to more public functions, not just, like a lot of the private trainings that we go to, like with Surefire this year and last year, Fort Scott Munitions, things like that. All that stuff is a lot of fun. Enjoy doing it, but, they're closed, right? It's not open to the public. And so I think for 2024, I'll see if I can do a little bit more traveling and going to these different events. You know what I'm saying? And also there's different gun, like Point Blank Range and Matthews. They hosted what did they call it? It was a train shot event, and that's where Larry Vickers, Alex Zedra, Jade Struck, a bunch of others, Brandon Herrera. That's where Brandon and I actually first met. It was open to the public, and I was friends with a couple of the guys at Point Blank. They're like, dude, come on down and shoot, And I'm like, yeah, I'll swing by and see what's up. And then I was like, oh, Jade, you're here. Oh, Alex, you're here. And quite a few others. And so if your local gun shop wants to host different events, I'd be willing to go, you know what I'm saying? So just send out an invite, local gun range, I should say, if they wanted to host like a shooting event or something. Can't hurt to ask and see if they have any events, you know what I mean? So there you go. All right. Let's get to a couple more here before we start to wind down. How about have a video, Jessica Simp says, with Tim of Military Arms Channel, especially the podcast. And we are tight with Tim from the Military Arms Channel. We like him quite a bit. So I think that's actually really doable. In fact, I don't know why we haven't done that yet. So be on the lookout for that. There you go. Oh, man. Frank Serrano, hello, Clint, just got off work. Any thoughts on a full-size Walther PDP? Still on the fence on this. Really like the grip. Feels just right on my XL hands. The PDP has been talked about quite a bit, Frank, in this live stream already. People are fans. I don't have a lot of experience with the PDP. A lot of experience. A little, not a lot. But I do got to say, Walther did it right with the PDP. So as far as my thoughts on it is, I want to shoot it more. I want to have more experience with it because the little bit of time that I've spent with this gun, it was a good time, put it that way. All right, so there you go. T Crockett 86. My son got a doe and I got a 12 point. Nice. Congratulations. That's awesome. Was this your son's like first hunt, or you guys been hunting before? That's pretty cool. And that came from Twitch. Thank you. Cole D1414. Looking for my next pistol. I have a, let me sit up a little bit more. Looks like that one's covering up my face a bit. Maybe if I actually sat up and quit slouching like an asshole. Looking for my next pistol. I have a VP9 and got better over time, but I was looking for something with a better trigger and optic cut. Shadow System, SIG, Canic. I'm more of a Lafroig guy. Lafroig is actually my favorite. Just throwing that out there. It is one of my favorites. I have several favorites, but Lafroig is definitely has a special place in my heart. I love Lafroig. And as far as looking for your next pistol, you've got a VP9, solid choice, not bad. And Shadow System, SIG, Canic. So SIG of the three is the only modular one. If you like Gucci Glocks, then Shadow Systems is a good direction to go. They run well. I like Shadow Systems. And then Canic, what I like about Canic is for the price, the style, the ergonomics, the reliability, the everything you get in the box, they're pretty much a home run, honestly. But you know, yeah, it's personal preference at the end of the day. I obviously like SIG quite a bit. You know, love my 365s, love my 320s. You know, I am a fan of the Spear LT. They also just announced the MCX Rattler LT. That's hot. That's hot, and I want one. You know, so there you go. And then we've got our Rocco coming over here with Straight Shade M&P is the superior pistol, which arguably, you know, it might be, you know, so there you go. Andy Dom 130, Clint, how was the obstacle course in boot camp? My follow-up question is, which one? Holy shit. So the O course, the obstacle course, they, you know, we have acronyms for everything, even if it's just the letter O for obstacle. The O course, everything about the physical aspect of Marine Corps boot camp is confidence. You know, it's all a mind game. I was going to use a different word there, but it's all a game. And the thing is, it's technique also. Right? There's the confidence course, which was fun. The worst thing about the confidence course, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like this ladder, a stairway to heaven or something like that. It's telephone poles that are going up like this in a pyramid, right? And you're supposed to lie on your back and weave yourself up and over each pole. That was the worst. I hated that sucked. There was nothing fun about that. It's slow. It's torturous. That obstacle can burn. I hate that one. Everything else is fun, and it's all about confidence. You see these things, you're like, there's no way I could do that, right? Like the entire rope course. You know, you're crawling on the rope, whatever, and you got like the water below you, and you're like, I'm going in. And some guys went in. It is what it is. And I assume that everybody goes through the same thing now, like I did in 2011. And as long as you're in like somewhat decent shape, you'll be able to do it just fine. Now, there was a point where I got so fatigued after running the obstacle course time and time again, I couldn't get up the rope at the very end. The last thing you got to do is climb like I can't remember it. To me, it seemed like it was 20 feet, maybe. And you got to climb that rope. And I was exhausted. And I kept trying to rely on my arms, and that's not where you get your strength from. The only time you ever use your arms on the vertical rope is initially to pull yourself up. After that, it's all in the legs. As long as you got your technique down, you'll be good. And it's a mind game. I knew that. I knew that I needed to use my legs, but I kept trying to use my arms. Why did I keep trying to use my arms? Oh, that's because I had drill instructors yelling at me to get up the rope. Climb faster, climb faster. Why aren't you moving faster? And what did I not do? I didn't hook my foot under the rope and start to push up, and so I lost strength in my upper body and fell. Ow. You know? But everything else about the obstacle course is there to look intimidating, but boost your confidence. And that's why some of these young Marines that come right out of boot camp, they're cocky little assholes because they think they can do anything. I just went and graduated Marine Corps boot camp, and I did stuff that you civilians will never do, and I did that in 3 months, and you've had your whole life. And then they get into a fight, and they realize that their little tan belt that Marine Corps martial arts got them ultimately taught them how to fall and take a punch. Right? But the obstacle course is fun. Except when you do it for the 8th or 9th time that day, then it's hell. So there you go. Andy Dom, also, what was the toughest part of boot camp? I got a Dear John at boot camp. Sure did. The girl I was dating at that time broke up with me. We worked together at Best Buy and started dating a coworker friend of mine while I was at boot camp. I've never said that publicly, and that was honestly the toughest part. Everything else, you kind of know what you're getting into, right? You know you're going to be exhausted. You know you're going to be yelled at. But at the end of the day, you get 3 meals, sometimes hot. You get 3 meals. You get 8 hours of sleep. You get a cot, or you get a bunk. I mean, and I knew that it wasn't going to last forever. You know what I mean? So the hardest part, though, was losing that support of somebody that I thought really cared for me. You know what I mean? Or maybe, that part sucked. Being away from friends and family, that part sucks too. But that's kind of like, But yeah, getting a Dear John, having your girl break up with you. Yeah. Motherfucker. That sucks. Oh, and then start dating a friend of yours. It's okay. We're cool now. This was like 13 years ago, so. Oh, yeah. Damn, that's a dang it. That is indeed a dang it. Yep. Josh Clint still cries about this one. Oh, man. They always date a friend. Ain't that true? And no, his name wasn't Jody. If you get the joke, you probably were in. Is she still... No, don't answer that. It's okay. I got my revenge. Anyway, Steve Hughes. Hey, Clint, you, sir, are the master of multitasking. Don't tell that to my ex-wife. You have covered more today than all the news channels combined. Good stream, brother. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And, I'm good. I think I'm okay at conversation. And if I'm having a conversation with over 400 people, or, there's, you guys get what I'm saying. How many of you are actually in the chat? Hey, I'm all about talking with you guys and wherever the topic goes, whether it's goth daughters, PDP versus everything, politics, whether I'd get involved or not, ATF and their overreach, government and their tyrannical state. I'm willing to talk about it all. Some things I might have better insight in than others, right? Like Marine Corps boot camp. At this point, I mean, they did away with 4th Battalion, which was the female battalion for the Marines. Now it's all integrated from what I understand. So, there's all that. Mark over here asking about the zombie apocalypse. Another topic, right? Zombie apocalypse, what handgun and rifle do you choose? We actually just recently covered this for Halloween. And I think I clarified, we weren't specifically talking about, just any zombies. They could be Walking Dead type, nice slow movers, 28 weeks later, fast guys, World War Z fast guys, or it could be dudes on flying in on paragliders with AKs. You know, those are scary zombies. You know what I'm saying? So if I had to go up against any of those zombies, what would I grab? And yeah, my M4A1 suppressed with all the gizmos and gadgets, and my 320 that I have on my belt right now. That's probably what I would grab. Just, you know, because that's you know, it depends on what zombies, you know. Maybe an anti-aircraft gun would be ideal. Oh, God. So there you go. Josh Clemens, do a video with PewView if you know what's good for you. This dude, PewView, is a pretty impressive guy. At the CMMG event that we went to, the Sausage Fest, last year, I think it was just PewView and myself, actually, that made the hit on the shaving cream can. Let's just go watch that CMMG that we covered. And I did actually make the hit, and I never claimed my winning for that, which was like an upper receiver from CMMG. I wonder if it's too late. I forgot all about it, actually. So there you go. Oh, goodness. Let's see here. Let's get a couple more, then I'm going to start wrapping it up, call it a night here. And, you know, we'll get more and see what's going on. But thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. And let's see. I saw another super chat come on through. Thank you guys so much. Let's see here. Hungry 40, she gave up a hard-killing machine marine for Jody. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it is what it is. It's all right. Wouldn't have it any other way at this point. Let's see here. Taylor Cox. Clint, what are your thoughts on the Savage Model 10 FCP SR in 6.5 Creedmoor and the SIG M400 canebrake in 5.56? So, if I remember, let me just double check something really quick here. Some of the specs on the M400 canebrake 5.56, because I'm used to it. And 300 blackout. Let me see. That one is, here we go. MCX Rattler canebrake 5.56. Yeah. So the issue I have with the canebrake is the fact that it's a 5.5-inch barrel for 5.56. That's just no for me. Even full-time suppressed, 300 blackout would be the only way I'd go in the canebrake, personally. 300 blackout for that short of a barrel length. 5.56 is just you're losing all the ass that round has to give with that short of a barrel. Now, as far as the 10 FCP SR, that thing is cool. That is really cool. I always wanted one of the tactical models, threaded barrel, that type of stuff. Really like the Model 10 FCP SR. So that I think is a solid choice. Canebrake in 5.56, not for me at least. Maybe for you, if that's the way you want to live, go for it, all right? That's how I feel about that, all right? So there you go. Let's see here. Aaron808, what's up, man? Aloha, Clint. Gun laws in Hawaii suck. Yeah, who was it we were talking to before said they want to, live long enough to see the 2A in Hawaii, like the true 2A in Hawaii, By the way, hopping back on over here to Rumble, because I know it's been a minute since I talked to you guys for a few. We've got Komar_2000 giving us a super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. They know what they're doing and they want to destroy America. Going back, talking about our politicians and representatives. Yeah, I think you're probably onto something there. So there you go. And I want to get to Professor Blake Pooh-Ass Blaster 3000 again. I'm worried about civil war in our country or World War III. So civil war, this is something we could probably spend a little bit of time talking about. Maybe I'll save it for next live stream, what is next Monday? I want to see if I'll be around. Probably will be if I had to guess. There we go. There's my calendar. Next Monday, we got Thanksgiving this week. And by the way, did you guys confirm or deny about whether or not I say Thanksgiving weird? Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Thanksgiving. Let's see here. What is today? The 20th, 27th. Oh, I will not be available next week, guys, because we're gonna be doing. Well, you'll see. You'll see what's coming out. You'll see. It'll be a good time though. Well, damn! I didn't realize that was here that fast. All right, so now I'm at that point where I want to talk about something really cool, but I can't. And now I have to not mention it, or I might get in trouble. So I just have to. We're not talking about next week anymore. Okay. So with that, Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster. By the way, I'm checking my battery life on my camera. If it dies, it dies. Isn't that what Ivan said? So if it dies, it dies. We're just going to keep rolling for the time being. I'm worried about civil war in our country or World War III. World War III. You know, I can see us getting involved in another conflict, but as far as an all-out world war, the United States makes too many of our near-peer adversaries too much money. They don't want to go into war with us. They want to take as much as they can financially and everything else from us. They don't. I think they know that it wouldn't be good for anybody. You know, but if you have a conflict here, a proxy war here, Israel, Ukraine, you could make quite a bit of money there. I don't know, maybe quite a few $1 billion in situations like that. That makes more logical sense to me than going all out war. What I am worried about is not so much a civil war, not so much World War III. I'm worried about the threat that exists here, ultimately wanting to destroy Americans for being Americans. And that's a good thing that leads right back to what I was talking about, what this entire live stream, what the premise of this live stream was about: vigilance, preparedness, fitness, and other things to take into consideration, not only when carrying, but in general, your day-to-day life. Because evil exists. The evil is here. And it is ready to do unspeakable, horrible things to you and your loved ones. Are you ready to meet it and fight it and defeat it? In whatever shape or form it comes in. Sometimes you just won't have the chance. Sometimes it'll be so much that no matter how prepared you are, you won't be able to fight it. But you got to do everything you possibly can to take it down. And that's what we saw in United Flight. Oh, my God. Forgive me, guys. The plane... 9/11. Everybody on that plane that went down in that field in Pennsylvania, that evil, they met and they stopped. You know? It's a flight 93. United 93, isn't that right? That's what let's roll. Just want to make sure that's right. United 93. So again, I'm not so much worried about Civil War. I'm not really worried about World War III. I'm worried about the threat that is coming up to the southern border. Confirmed. That's already here. That's been growing in this country for decades. And it's almost like, I mean, you can laugh all you want. You can say you're ridiculous for believing in sleeper cells or whatever. But I believe personally that there is a looming invasion that ultimately all anybody is waiting for is the go-ahead, the green light, the Irene. This is Irene. That's the go word, right? If you know what I'm talking about, you know, Gothic Serpent, Black Hawk Down. Irene was the code word for launch the mission. And I think that there are people organizing, strategizing, and preparing to take out either mass areas of population, key points in our infrastructure to cripple the American way of life, even if it's only for 24 hours. That's all they want. They want to show that we are not invincible. We're not the big, badasses that we like to think we are. Because why? Because we're all complacent. Going back to that word that we talked about before, we're all too complacent. I'm not worried about Civil War, honestly. It's going to take a lot to finally get to that point. Not really worried about World War III. I mean, honestly, if World War III breaks out, it's probably going to be just nukes and we're all dead anyway. So, what do you got to worry about? So, what's scary, Mayho is saying, is so-called Americans wanting to destroy this country. Yeah, and you're absolutely right about that, So, there you go. Let's see here. Super chats coming over here. Tanner, you can tell me, I won't tell anyone. Appreciate it. West Boy, thoughts on US dollar. How is YouTube success? How to? Thoughts on, are you asking like making money with YouTube? Success, things like that. Let's save that for next week. Or sorry, that perhaps maybe the next week, because I want to go ahead and start wrapping up tonight. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And before we wrap up, let me get to last week's live chat that I had pulled up at one point. Where did it go? There we go. And let's get to some of the comments that were made there. For instance, we had TC4423 started reading High Times 20 years ago sent money to normal poof legislations, America baby. We got Mr. Cashew Kitty, stay anabolic. Lego Boy 887, knowing you're not giving legal advice, would the victory also be recognized by a state like Illinois? Talking about the pistol braces. And this is a federal thing. This is not so much a state thing. This is the ATF not able to enforce their brace ruling. We'll see where it goes from here. But right now, they can't do anything about you owning a brace. So we'll see. Aaron Pampo 4654, very happy you're hitting the gym again. Love physical fitness. I wish you well, Clint. Also love the stream. First time viewer. I listened to the archive. Will be tuning in. Appreciate that. Hopefully you made it here tonight. And let me get to just a couple more chats here. And I promise you, West Boy, I'm not going to leave you hanging. We will talk a little bit about this next live stream, and we'll get into that some about YouTube and all that type of fun stuff. All right. Mark wants to say God bless everyone in this chat. God bless you all. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. Smart Shooters LLC. Again, MC9, best pistol of 2023. It's a good pistol. It's a good pistol. All right. So Echo, can you do a video with Kentucky Ballistics? That's another one. We've worked together, but not on the same camera, right? Not in the same picture. Again, the 50 cal that blew up on him, we thought maybe that was our fault because we provided him a Barrett M82 at that point in time. And we were like, hey, our plan was to coincide our releases on this date. We haven't heard anything. What's going on? And then I can't remember if it was his dad, manager, texted us and said, oh, he's in the hospital. He almost died. A 50 cal blew up on him. And we're like, oh my God, did we almost kill Scott from Kentucky Ballistics? Thankfully, we can kind of joke about this. He's okay. He's made a full recovery, and he is a badass. And he makes light of it now. I got his shirt, give it the thumb, give it the old Kentucky plug, right? So there you go. But here we are, here we are. But yeah, I hope, maybe we all can get in the camera. Same screen, same frame together soon. That'd be great. All right. Thank you, West Boy. Appreciate it. And then Kevin Shook, have we not learned? About which one? I don't know. But I think we can pretty much leave it there. I'll find a couple, just a few more. Just a few more. It's already gone 2 hours and almost 10 minutes here. All right. So good night. God bless. Thank you. Appreciate that so much. And Rusty shot. I rip and I rhyme and a rip. This is the way Dylan spits. Okay. Oh my God. You guys are too much in this chat. I freaking appreciate every last one of you. By the way, did we ever confirm whether or not I say Thanksgiving weird? I don't know. I'll go back through the chat and Kels, if you're watching, we'll see if they agree or disagree with you, okay? And we'll leave it off there. So thank you guys so much for oh, that's what you guys were talking about. That's what it was. Oh, yeah, about that thing that I didn't want to talk about because it was on the forefront of my mind, and it's something that we're doing next week. And yeah, and secret safe. Yeah, but it's the internet. The internet's like forever and public. You know what I'm saying? And so, there's all of that, right? God bless America. I'll be back to my fan friends. And obviously his secrets are safe with us, and so there's that. But, we're just flying to go hang out with I'll tell you, I'll post it up on my Instagram next week or something. All right. We'll leave it there. But last thing, we got one more super chat coming in at the tail end of tonight's live stream. Thank you, Camilo Capote. Thank you so much. I'm originally from Cuba. I know how important the freedom is. That will be their goal. They will destroy your soul if they are able to take the freedom from this country. The enemy is already between us. And strong words, good message coming from Camilo, and I agree. So we'll leave it off there, guys. Stay strapped, stay ready, stay prepared. And like I mentioned before, like I said about this, the entire theme of tonight's video was all about vigilance, preparedness, fitness, and just being aware of the times that we're living in, right? So stay armed, stay armored up, stay ammoed up, all right? Stay agile. Thank you, Pew Pew Tactical, for that one, or Pew Pew Daily. And keep your head on a swivel, guys, all right? Get out there, train. Let's go ahead and yep, appreciate you guys. And that's that. Have a good week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see y'all. God bless. Stay safe. And we'll leave it off there. Till next time, everyone. Again, stay tuned. Monday night, next Monday night, I'm not going to say absolutely no to, but we'll probably be pretty busy. But if we do go live, it'll probably be me and the team. All right. So it would be pretty fun, I think. God bless you guys. See you soon. Again, happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe if you're traveling, and travel with a gun, and get rid of the NFA, and defund the ATF, and repeal the Gun Control Act and the Hughes Amendment. Buy more guns. Love you guys. and cheers.